What's up, everybody? Here's a thought. The best ethic for a good life, for improvement in an endeavor, is to focus on giving the best effort that you can. And competition is a great way of figuring out where you are in the pack, if you will. And I think that one of the things that's so wrong with Western culture, that has been that way for many years, is the utter demoralization of the ethic of competing to be one's best. And in a way, it's been supplanted by just kind of media and academic influences by resentment and envy and bitterness towards those in a higher station or better outcomes. And it largely, the people that subscribe to that way of thinking elevate the worst among us to positions of power as arbiters of quote unquote fairness and equity and the forced equality of equal outcomes. Back in the 80s and the 90s, we used to look up to macho men and sexy women, and we used to hold up examples of high achievement and heroism and beauty as things to be looked up to and to strive for, and the ethic of competition as healthy and primal and something that moves us towards being better versions of ourselves. American gladiators and that era. Now we live in this world that has, by I would contend, malevolent forces been just browbeaten to believe that everybody's perfect just the way they are, that no competition of any sort is positive, that it's all toxic, that there's nothing to be gained from, from encouraging people to try to be better in an effort to improve themselves, right? We're all about acceptance and no hurt feelings, but at the cost of destroying young people's potential for achievement, and unless they subscribe to the same kind of doctrines. I say, go out there and do your best and be your best and work hard and recognize where you're deficient and work on it. And don't let anybody tell you you're fine just the way you are. You know what you need to work on those things. We've become a feminized culture that seeks to protect all the children instead of a masculine culture that seeks to move forward and conquer the forces of evil and protect the whole society such that it can flourish. And I think we're seeing a real breakdown of the family dynamic. I mean, divorces have been a huge cultural force in the United States. We see a breakdown in things like, the competitive ethic in favor of the non-competitive ethic. And I just think that doesn't serve a person who's trying to get better and overcome obstacles. It's this mentality that says a drug addict should be protected in their drug abuse, right? Given clean needles, given a clean place to do what they do, as opposed to be encouraged to get off the drugs. Tough love is love. And there is a sort of toxic positivity. There is toxic compassion. We seem to be fascinated with criminals in the West with no regard for their victims. And I don't like that. I hold myself to account and would like to answer for my behavior and nobody else's. And I feel that excusing the behavior of the malevolent is a dangerous game. And the fact that it's being played by people that share no burden of the responsibility for those beliefs is telling and disheartening, in that it somehow resonates with young, romantic, revolutionary-minded people that don't want to compete, that don't have a stake in the free market and the ability to to earn and to go out into the world, but instead want to topple it in a glorious revolution. So I think we're really seeing the outcome of so many young people, largely young men, having been demoralized and frustrated and given no encouragement and told repeatedly how they're the problem and they're toxic and they need to sit down and shut up, and they need to allow others that are more diverse to supplant their place in society merely because of immutable characteristics of birth, to right some historical wrong. And the people that push these kinds of policies are upper middle class people that don't suffer the consequences. And I think the populist shift to the right, rather the Overton window shifting that much farther to the left and displacing a large component of the working class to now what is de facto the Republican Party in the United States, is telling, in that I haven't changed my views on, social, politics or fiscal politics. I've just found myself disrespected, put down, judged for no ill will of my own. And you do that to enough young men that would fight for you, that would defend you, that would sacrifice for you, and they're not going to vote for the kinds of policies that you push if they keep screwing them. So yeah, just some thoughts. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you guys. Love you.